Hello, I'm Christian Taylor. This is my co-host, Mr. Bass. Mr. Bass, how are you today? I should have known. Mr. Bass says he's low down. He's really feeling low down. Come up here where I can see you. Don't be shy. You know how bass players are. John Entwistle. Who's the bass player for the Stones? It'll come to me in a moment. He's also quite a shy guy. Welcome to Guitars Around YouTube. This is where I talk about guitars and YouTube, strangely enough. Yep. Anyway, this is my personal experience. Around 2008, I was recovering from back surgery and neck surgery. And I had about 7 months to not do too much except lay down and let myself heal and go for a walk around the block once a day. That was allowed. That's about all I did. And after I got healed up somewhat, I could get around a bit more. Me and my new kitten, Riley, we decided that, I should check out this new thing called YouTube. So I wonder what that's all about. And specifically, I wanted to look up Buckethead because I knew some about Buckethead. I had the Guitar Player article that was one of the only interviews he'd ever done. And he sounded like an interesting fellow, to say the least. And I decided, I'm going to look up Buckethead and finally get to know this guy some more and see what he's all about. Crazy dude wears a bucket on his head. So I did, and holy moly, he was quite a guitar player, I got to say that. And one of the things that he did for me was he made it okay to want to shred and then shred some more. For a while I had put my shred on the back burner, so to speak, or I kept it hidden a bit. It was just considered bad. You're just bad if you want to shred. And oh man, that was rough for me, but I just decided, guess that's the way it's got to be. When I saw Buckethead, I said, oh, it's okay to shred. It's all right. I don't have to keep my shred in the closet, And that's what he did for me. It made it okay for me to play the way I wanted to play. And the hell with what anybody says and what anybody thinks. So, boy, there's a lot of Buckethead on YouTube, and I think I checked out every video. And I got to tell you, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but to me, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is, boy, Buckethead sure can play. That's amazing, And on close second was that, holy shit, this is funny. To me, it was done with a great bunch of humor, and I thought that was great. And I don't know if it's funny to anybody else, but it just cracks me up. And, musically, it's fantastic. So I started checking out everything on YouTube, guitar-wise, and realized, holy moly, there's a lot of guitar stuff on YouTube. Right, Mr. Bass? And bass stuff, too. That's right. And I started checking it all out, and I just came across a whole bunch of things that were interesting, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. One of the first things I came across was Buckethead, like I said. And then I just investigated a whole lot without really landing on any one thing for too long and checking it out. And one day I found this show, the JHS show. And I said to myself, what is this? I was just perplexed. I couldn't figure out what it was. I didn't know. Just didn't know. I couldn't figure it out. It was like, I just kept thinking, what is this? And then, I watched it a little more, and I watched it some more, and then, it became obvious that, again, this show is done with a lot of humor, for one thing. And, boy, this fella Josh, he is a titan of tone. I was watching it, and I was learning a whole lot about how to get different sounds. It was very informative. I enjoyed it very much. And his sidekick, Nick, I found to be very funny and a very nice fellow. He came off well on my television. and also Addison, nice guy. Good bass player, good guitar player, apparently. I don't know what else he plays. And Nick, he's a triple or quadruple threat. He plays guitar and keyboards and drums and bass and sings. Um, so that was fantastic. And wrapping this up, because I got a lot of other things to get to, uh, I just thought the JHS show was great, and I think I watched every episode because I had to know everything about. The funny thing was the way the way my personal experience had gone when I was playing out in bars and clubs back in the 90s. Uh, Everything had gotten to be rack mount effects and pedals. I thought, well, pedals they're gone. They're just a thing of the past. And I had a small fleet of pedals which I didn't use anymore because I had rack mounted stuff. And eventually, long period of time passed, and I decided to sell these pedals that I had. And just after I sold them was when I realized that, oh, pedals never really went out of style, and I learned all about this boutique movement and everything like that. And it was just, it was very enlightening because I really thought, like I said, pedals have gone the way of the Dodo and the Edsel and all like that. And oh, no, actually, they're all well and good, and a lot of good stuff is being made, a lot of interesting stuff. And so recently, I had to get myself a new fleet of pedals because I still have my rack mount stuff, but I thought, I remember liking those pedals, and when you wanted to change something, you just reached out, and one of those two or three knobs would probably do what you were looking for, and no fuss, no muss, no bother, no scrolling through different presets and different banks and whatnot. But really, I still have my rack mount effects, and combining my rack mount and got MIDI controlled set up, and with my pedals, and got a small galaxy of amps that I can play through. Paraphrase what Stevie said, and worked out pretty good. It's not one or the other; it's both and for me. Another fellow that I came across was Elmo J. Carnadinen. I'm probably mangling his name, and I'm very, very sorry. He's that guy, as he says. And watched a lot of his gear demonstration videos and some of his videos of his original music, and both were very, very pleasant to me. I enjoyed them very much. And man, oh man, there's this one video where he's doing a demonstration of $100 Indio Strat. And for one thing, the Strat is just a beautiful, beautiful color. And I'm a fool for Strats anyway. I mean, I just have been for years. And on this $100 guitar, he just played the heck out of it. It was insane. He's really, really good. He's a really good guitar player. Speaking of good guitar players, Pete Thorne, also really good guitar player. And as one guy said in the comments, something pretty close to Pete could play through a squash through a potato and sound better than us. And yeah, I think that's true. And I'm getting pretty long-winded here. I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff pretty quickly. I've discovered that pedal show. Um, Unfortunately, the JHS show, I was watching that one day, and my wife just said that they were idiots. And boy, she couldn't even be in the room when I watched that. And so I told her about these British idiots that I had found. And I haven't seen every show. They've been around for quite a while, but that pedal show, I dig it. Learn a lot too. I think after playing guitar all my life, I would know all about just about everything, but no, not even close. I learn a lot from them too, and they're funny. They remind me of my brother and I, for some reason, especially electric guitar, heavy stuff. Sometimes it would just amuse my brother and I to no end. It was just funny. We'd crack up like you wouldn't believe. And nobody else really seemed to get it. It was something just between me and him, and it's a nice thing. Also discovered Brian Wampler. Makes good pedals. Seems like a cool guy. He was on the JHS show one day, and he strummed his guitar with this overdrive going, and I thought, my God, that's the best overdrive sound I've ever heard. Yeah, he gets some fantastic sounds, good sounding stuff. Keith Williams with 5 Watt World. Getting the most music from the least gear, that sounds good to me. Being a small amp guy and not really having a studio. I see a lot of guys that do their shows and it looks like they live in a music studio, and I'm not there. Although I have been accused of jamming in my room when I get all the things out when I'm recording something, and you pull one system out and you don't put it away because you move on to another system, you don't put that away, and the next thing you know, your wife walks in and says, "Christian, it looks like a music store exploded in here." There's wires going everywhere. All my tubes and wires, I can't find anything. Vertex Effects, I forget the gentleman's name. Also a informative show. Not as entertaining as some of the others, but a good show nonetheless. Another dude I discovered was Randy Hansen. Holy moly. That is absolutely, bar none, nobody even close, the best Hendrix tribute ever to have seen, probably ever gonna seen. Man, oh man, Randy Hansen's a good guitar player. He can play the Jimmy stuff like you just wouldn't believe. You'd swear, well, that's Jimmy. It's great. I really enjoyed that. Watched a lot of his videos. Didn't know a whole lot about the current pedal scene, knew nothing about Boutique, and so of course I didn't know a thing about the Klein and that whole history. That was really interesting. Never really heard of like a craze for a pedal before, but now I have. Another great guitar player I discovered was Andy Timmons. I don't know how he flew under my radar for years, but he did. Boy, that guy's good, and what a tone. Dave Brewster, Late Night Lessons, he's a great player, good teacher. Every time I tune into there, he knocks me out with something I didn't know yet. That, oh boy, that is good to know. Great guy, great teacher. Philip McKnight, seems like a nice fellow. He knows his gear, obviously. That's the slogan of his show. And I learn a lot by tuning in there and checking it out. And, well, I guess that wraps it up, unless Mr. Bassman has anything else to say. No, Mr. Bassman, you're all set? All right. Well, he's still feeling low down. He doesn't want to talk, you know. Feeling mighty low. Well, this is Guitars Are on YouTube. I'm Christian Taylor. I'm at Christian Taylor 4027 4027. I'll see you there sometime. Peace out. Be good to each other. All right, I got to stop talking now. I really got to stop talking. You know, otherwise I'm going to be talking to myself, and then the next thing you know,